Hey folks, it's Jang here from ultimaterc.com, and I am in a huge hurry right now, so please forgive me in advance for the hurried nature of this unboxing of the Traxxas rally car. This is the 1/10th scale version, not the 1/16th scale. This is a much larger vehicle. So while I go about the physical process of unboxing this thing, actually, you know what? I better just skip through this because this is going to be very loud with the shrink wrap. Okay, that takes care of that part. Now, as I was saying before I rudely interrupted myself, while I'm unboxing this thing physically, I will answer a few questions that will invariably come up. First off, will I compare this thing to the HPI WR8 Flux that as of the time that this video is being done, I just recently tested that HPI? The answer is yes. Yes, I will be testing or comparing the two. Oh, what's going on here? Okay, got a big old box insert thing. It's a box inside of a box, so to speak. Another question, will I be comparing this to the Kyosho DRX VE, another rally car? Yes, the answer is yes, I will. Another question, will I be comparing this to the Thunder Tiger ER4, or whatever they call their large rally car? The answer is yes. Yes, I will. Question, when will I be comparing it to these other vehicles? Answer is the Daily Double. Not everybody watches that show. Answer is those comparisons will be done when they're done. Which is incidentally the same answer that goes to the next big question. When will I publish the review of this car here? The answer to that is, once again, it'll be published when it is published. Don't try to rush me. I take this stuff seriously, and it takes time, and I'm not able to do everything in the exact order that you want me to, or that YouTube wants me to. I do things in the order that works out best and makes sense, and you know, stuff happens when it happens. Just be patient. I'm of course anxious to try this thing out, anxious as you are to see the review. If you're anxious to see the review, not everybody's that anxious to see this review, but crap, one more thing. Okay, and there we go. I don't like it when it's an ordeal to get a vehicle out of the box, but this one wasn't all that bad. So a couple of things that I pulled out of the box early on. First off, got the radio set. Let's see which radio set this one comes with. Well, comes with the TQI radio, 2.4 gigahertz. You can purchase separately a docking base. It'll allow you to hook this thing up and then hook up your iPod or iPod Touch or iPhone to the base of this, access more of the settings internally without having to go through the two menu buttons. And you can also add on telemetry, but you do have to buy the telemetry sensors and such yourself. That will not come with the docking base. And then I also pulled out this thingy here, which is a bag of stuff, and it contains, I'm pretty sure there's a battery charger inside of here. There are some very good. There are body washers. They included a couple sets of body washers in there. Those plastic disc things, very important for saving your body, especially on something like this that's very body centric, where you're going to be doing a lot of damage to the body as you roll over and such. You have some basic normal tools that come with them. They have some decals that would be good to apply. They are pre-cut out, and they give you, looks like pretty good instructions for adding those on. It'll make the vehicle look much better. And then there are just a few extra shock parts, which include down travel limiter if you want to use that, preload clips, always important and always welcome. They also have some spare pistons if you want to change your setup a little bit. They have some different pistons. And then here's the car. Okay, this is what I was really looking forward to. Getting all that other stuff out of the way, is here is the car. First impressions by me, and this is all 100% subjective. I like this body. Personally, I've liked this body style. It's a scaled up version of the one that they designed for the 1/18th scale. But I think they did all the right things of capturing the essence of a hot hatch with a wide body design on it. It's got a nice narrow, actually narrowing canopy back here, or the roof line, with nice wide hips. They've got this angle here. It has some, I'd say, some Seat cues to it a little bit, maybe a little bit of Alfa Romeo, very, very Euro, and I appreciate that. I like this paint scheme, this color scheme, as well as the green version of it. I like these better personally than the official Traxxas ones. I think they've got a blue one and probably a red one with white in them. I like these ones with the darker colors, and they've got the matching wheel colors here. So overall, first impressions from me, I like the look of it. The only thing that I don't like looks wise is that it has these pretty tall high profile tires, which are actually short course size. I think they might be a little bit smaller than your standard short course tire just from looking at it. Just slightly. It's definitely short course compatible wheels, but the tires I think may be a little bit on the lower profile side, but there's just not much you can do with that standard size of wheel, and you do need to use that size of wheel to fit over the hubs of this platform, this chassis design, because it is based on the design of the Slash 4x4 with a twist, with a very interesting twist. So one thing I want to do right here before I start zooming in on components, just to let you know what size this vehicle is, because there's so many different sizes and real scales and pseudo scales, kind of RC specific scaling name. This is the size that it is. It is a short course sized vehicle, so a 1/8 scale buggy sized vehicle, width and height. It's got the big body mounts in the back. But if I cheat and I do like this, now it's going to work. So there you can see, you can put a short course body on this thing. You just got to set up the body mounts. But that is the size that it is. So it is one of the larger rally cars that's out there on the market right now. And while I've got this upside down, oh no, I've given away the big secret that nobody knows about. The fact that this has a low center of gravity chassis. What Traxxas should have put on the Slash 4x4 in the first place, there's no excuse, there's no good excuse, let me put it that way, for companies to give high performance vehicles unnecessarily high center of gravity. There are a lot of what I would call lame excuses. Sorry, just being blunt, just being honest. I don't really subscribe to any of those excuses. I think just go for low center of gravity to begin with, unless you're doing something that's a monster truck that needs huge ground clearance, and most of the time there you can get away with that with just putting on large wheels and tires. Speaking of wheels and tires, I'll get back to the chassis in a second. Speaking of wheels and tires, we'll go ahead and zoom in on these. I already told you about the size of them. The tread is a very nice looking tread design. Very, very, very nice. Kind of scale-ish, a little bit Pirelli inspired there. Actually, they are BF Goodrich. They actually say right here on the sidewall, BF Goodrich. They are actually a licensed tire tread design. So that's cool. It looks really good. A good kind of compromise, I'd say, with aggressiveness versus having a lot of contact patch. A lot of people are going to drive this sort of on-road-ish looking car on the street, and these tires, these are actually a little bit on the hard side, but they don't feel too bad. They don't feel too bad. I think that these tires, unlike the ones that originally came with the Slash and the Slash 4x4 and some versions of the 16th scale Traxxas Rally, I think these tires may actually work on some of the surfaces that they are intended to be used on. That remains to be seen. A little bit different setup here in the front compared to the Slash 4x4, with a nice low bumper with a foam bumper, and low wide body mounts spaced out. They've got a nice strong base to them with a kind of I-beam design with this the rectangular insert into the base here, adjustable in height, and a pretty good looking setup there. It ties into the bulkheads pretty well. I'm not going to get into the details of the suspension too much here because, like I said, it's the same thing that's on the Slash 4x4. Really nothing new that I can tell right here. The setup is very lazy, I'd say. I think the oil is a little bit stiff, but this actually may work out for the intended driving styles. A little bit stiff on the oil. The springs are actually working for me up front. They are those progressive springs, but something about this setup feels better than the Slash. It does get very stiff once you push fully beyond the softer stages of the springs. But I think that actually makes sense for an on-road styled vehicle. And then back here at the back, again, feeling pretty decent. I think they may be onto something here. You got the little stubby bumper to which you can attach, that's from the Stampede 4x4, you can attach a wheelie bar to that. Not that you're going to with this vehicle, but that's a easy way for them to rob the parts bin and just use parts they already had without designing new ones to capture the rear suspension pins and also tie into the upper diff case that kind of forms the bulkhead there. What everybody wants to know about, one other thing, body mount rear. This is useful for Slash owners, Stampede owners to use front and rear for vehicles where if you want to use an SUV style body on a Slash or a Stampede and you need to get it up higher, and it also has decent adjustability. I think you can use that on the front as well. It'll allow you to use some different bodies that need to be raised up, or especially if you're going for a more monster truck look. This is an easy way without having to do any sort of customization to get a higher body mount on a Slash or a Stampede, anything that uses those same suspension components, especially the shock towers. So back to the chassis. Like I said, low center of gravity design. There have been plenty of posts on URC and many other places showing you the details, and of course Traxxas has their official photographs of the thing, and you can look into it carefully exactly what each part looks like. But fundamentally, they have done what they should have done in the first place. They've moved the battery down quite a lot. It's almost as far down as it could reasonably go with a plastic tub style chassis. This chassis, Traxxas knows their stuff. The designer that does these, he definitely knows his stuff regarding physics, and they do a pretty good job on designing these things. I have utmost confidence in the sturdiness of this thing. There's a little bit of flex in there just because it is fiber reinforced plastic, but I think that's going to be pretty sturdy. You can see just how much they lowered it, because if you look down, there's a honeycomb structure down on the bottom. There's a little bit on the side, but down to the base of that honeycomb, all the way down there, that is how far down the base of this chassis is. And you compare this to a Slash 4x4, Stampede 4x4, the center shaft is actually in the same place, because that is limited by the spur gear. The spur gear was already about as low as it could go on the original. They've left that alone, they've left the driveline alone, but now they've dropped the chassis so much that instead of the chassis being right there underneath the driveline and actually having a little bit of a detent going along the center line to accommodate the drive shaft, because the shaft was a little bit lower than the inner bottom of the chassis. Now it's sitting way up here. Good news about that is that you're not going to get anything stuck in there anymore like we used to with the Slash 4x4 and the Stampede 4x4. So that's good news. A little bit more of an 8th scale style layout here. We've moved the servo down so far now, and it's fully laid down, and it's actually completely under with a gap beneath the center shaft. Other than that, looks like the steering components are are pretty much the same. That is a waterproof 2075 servo. This looks like a new waterproof receiver box that they've got there. A little bit more squarish and just fits in. And then of course they have the same old VXL 3S and Valenion 3500 kV motor system that they do in all of their 10th scale. Well, yeah, I think all of their 10th scale brushless stuff. So no surprises there. All supposed to be waterproof and sensorless motor. The ESC can push a censored motor, but not so well from what I've heard. I've never tried it myself, but that pretty much covers it for the layout. 2.4 gigahertz, of course. You already saw the radio or the controller. So I think that just about does it for the unboxing phase here. Review will be done when the review is done, which won't be until after I've thoroughly tested the thing. And if it breaks while I'm testing it, I need to get new parts. You know, I do this, like I said, I take this stuff kind of seriously, even though I do have a lot of fun with it. So no guarantees that review will be out instantaneously. Please be patient and don't try to drive me completely insane with repeated questions that are already answered in the video description on every single video that I do. Okay? Yeah. This actually looks pretty cool. Just taking a moment to just look at it. I like this scheme. I like that body, and I like the livery of this one. And like I said, they also have the green one. I think they should. Personally, I would love it if they would do more of their bodies in this style. I don't really like their default kind of look all that much, but so far I don't have anything to complain about with this vehicle. The tires are a little bit on the hard side, but I know that is important for on-road use in the target market these guys are going after. You can swap those out for short course, standard short course wheels and tires to get any tread that you want. So that's a good thing, that's useful. And yeah, I'm looking forward to trying this thing out and seeing how well it does. And I'm happy that they went ahead and did a low center of gravity chassis, because now of course that will be able to be used for the Slash 4x4. There are some great aftermarket options already on the market, but this may be cheaper, I'm not sure. But for folks who just start out with one of these, it'll definitely be cheaper. You know, change out the wheels, tires, and body, and then you've got a low center of gravity Slash 4x4. So again, said a minute ago, that's probably it. Well, now it really is probably it for this video. It's time for me to close up. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll be talking to you again soon.